We are operating on a frequency of 52 megacycles by authority of the Federal Communications Commission. A test program follows. To you who've been trained technically, I need hardly say that there's still a number of problems to solve. I guess you know them as well as anybody knows them. But I think we've proceeded far enough to justify the statement, at least, that these technical problems are not insurmountable.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 12th of November already? Jeez, 12th of November. Shit. I need to stop swearing. Apparently it impacts YouTube. Oh. 1 second. Sorry, I had YouTube then kick me off in the background. Firstly, can everyone hear me this week? How I finally fixed out all my audio woes. This is much worse. Yes. You can hear me. Awesome. I spent we didn't have any live commentation today. Brett, I demanded he had the week off. He wasn't happy about this fact. But after commentating, I think the best part of 11 games last week and putting them live, I just needed to make sure he was okay and had a break. Yes, it is October. What did I say it was then? Sorry, not tonight. But so there's no live commentation tonight. This gave me some time to actually sort out my settings in OBS. Finally, I'm learning how to do this almost like a professional. It's only been 9 months of me learning to stream. This week, and I'm going to put my hand up and apologise for the fun and games we had this week. This week was supposed to be the playoff week where everybody played, unless you were in the top winner of each group, was going to play a game to see which cut you made into, ignoring the various buys through the system. Somehow this failed to be communicated to the mod team, and mods gave out different information, and this caused much confusion and all that jazz. And on Tuesday evening, I just had to have some time off from this, and literally I spent last week doing my day job and spending time with my family and very little else until I was forced to do DIY. But I needed a break. It was not the right time to take a break for Coat, but it was the time I needed for myself to take a break. And that's the other reason I'm very keen to give Brett a week time off, because he and the admin team, John, Simon, everyone else, did a great week covering. But I know Brett especially was dug into everything. So I say, Tom, take some time for himself. Don't worry about streaming anything this week, and we'll get on top of this next week. He may still try and record some games. Did I say it was November? Wishful thinking. But yeah, we're all good. Just so much going on right now. We needed to have some recharge time. So just going to pull my notes up in front of me. So again, apologies for the confusion. This is on my communication. Communication's never been my strongest point, and it just went wrong. But currently, unless you have chosen and told me your team is dropping, there is no team knocked out of the event now. This point going forward is the knockout point. So, if your friends think they're no longer in it, but haven't told me they've dropped, they're still in it. If they want to drop, that's fine. They have to tell me. If they don't tell me, they'll get knocked out for not turning up to their matches, which is the same, just a little bit less polite. But no teams are currently dropped out unless they want to be. I don't have a lot to go through today. I'm in the process of doing some code changes to the backend system, and a couple of things that I need to get in there that I haven't yet. So I will make a couple of apologies as we go through the cut. moving on to Coach 7. Coach 7 is starting in a few weeks' time. We actually have a record number of sign-ups right now. We currently, at this point, have more sign-ups than any other Coat event, I think, bar the first Coat 1, at this point through the sign-up procedure. I think we have 2 teams. Normally, we don't get any teams the last couple of days. So, thank you for the guys who've signed up. I'm not going to say who it is. Thank you to everyone else who's looking at coming back. We are, and I will confirm this, keeping the group system. We are tweaking it if you're in Europe so that we won't group by country. We're going to group by region. So the USA, Canada, and South America groups will all be split amongst the same groups. We have Europe, and if we have any, African and Middle East countries will all be together. Then we will have Asia Pacific and Australasia. And if we get the subcontinent, the subcontinent people enter that time, then that's a challenge I will have when it gets there. But the main complaint we had was the French team felt like they were committing fratricide. For those who don't know what the word means, it means they were killing their own brothers, because the French teams who normally play each other were still playing against each other, and that was probably a good 2/3 of their group. If they all had the same team name, I would have spread them out, but I wasn't aware they all came from Paris. So that was on me for not checking, I suppose. But we're going to fix this going forward. Also, to be honest, the UK felt like we were all playing our usual selves anyway. Callum, great feedback. Yep, we'll take that. And we will work on that going forward as well to make sure that we will spread out countries much more. If I organise enough, maybe I'll do the stakes in the US as well, but I'm not sure. We'll see how things go. But we'll definitely be spreading out the countries. So that's all coming in 3-4 weeks. Just need to get everyone signed up and then start the heavy lifting work to get the whole thing running. Though I think we're all good for the group stages now. It's the bracket that's causing me the grief. I'm going to go through the brackets now. We had 5 teams drop that I am aware of. I think 3 of them told me today. One was last week and one was yesterday. And I'm sure, in case I missed any, if you know their team has dropped that I haven't mentioned, please let me know. But the teams that are dropping are Team SazLP, Team Jabbergrabber, Team Smodroltricity, Team Weekend, and Tubular Time Hogs. Lots of teams with T and S. All of them were T or S, so I'm not sure there's a connection here. But as we go through, we currently don't have them listed as dropped. That's literally what I was working on before the stream today. And this is what I'll be working on over the next couple of days. I am going to do my best to have it tomorrow listing that they've dropped, just so it's a bit clearer for everyone. But now I'm going to jump to the CKM page and see if this magic button works. And you still have audio. Awesome. So I can't see the comments now because I've run out of screen real estate. But this is the top cut. Well, that's the 4th cut. Let's start with the top cut. Top cut. So this is the people playing for the overall championship. The overall Coat 6 Victor's title, the highly coveted team. So we'll start with Can't Touch This, the Urchins from Poland versus Manchester Mavericks A from the UK. Manchester Mavericks is now my preferred team to wave the flag for because they're from the UK. Team Exalted we'll come on to shortly. Ganymede Archivists versus Team Fat Boy Hong Kong. So Ganymede Archivists are Canada and Team Fat Boys Hong Kong are from Hong Kong. Then we have Hamburg Atlanteans 2 from Germany versus Reapout from the USA. The French Keys, who got the bye through, versus Gaming Gear Birmingham. And Gaming Gear Birmingham, well, they knocked out my Team Exalted. I wasn't in that team. These guys are all better than me. But guys, Team Exalted, we're going to have to get you higher next time. Maybe I should take your bribes. Can't Touch This, the Purges from Poland versus No Can of Function Austria 1. That's from Austria versus Poland. Control the Leak from the USA versus Hamburg Atlanteans 1 in Germany. Team Mavericks Hong Kong versus Restakuri. And for the life of me, I can't remember where Restakuri comes from. I believe it is Europe somewhere. And then we have New York City versus Can't Touch This, the Wolves. So no one's dropped here. Nice and simple. This is the most important one. These are the guys who are now fighting off into top 16 to go for the overall title. So if you look at the rounds here, if you were in one of the games here that was not a bye, and you lost this match, you are now into the second cut. So if you look at the top of this list, we will now have Manchester Mavericks A. Go away. There we go. Manchester Mavericks A. Though they beat Sloppy Elaborates USA, in order to get this crazy framework I'm using to work, I had to list them as forfeited just so Sloppy Elaborate USA progressed. So if it's a forfeit here, that does not mean they lost. That means they probably won, and the second team is coming across. And I'm sure I'll be explaining that a lot through the week. Misfit versus Team Row, still waiting for feedback here. I'm prepared to give everyone an extra day to get me results simply because of the cock-up last week, the explanation. And I will chase these down. Then we have Team Fat Boys Hong Kong versus Sanctimonious. Sanctimonious versus Autocannon, should I say. Autocannon's Italy or Germany. Sanctimonious, I can't remember. I did know where all the teams are from. We're growing too much again. Then Team Labwork Hong Kong versus Bootcamp X. Bootcamp X Germany, Team Labwork Hong Kong. Well, I assume you guys can work that one out. Then we come on to Team Exalted Bouldering Edition, come on guys, versus Keyforge Granada. Then Starship Looters versus BBB. Coast to Coast versus Rocket Boots. No Califax in Austria 2 versus Team Sloppy Labwork. And L'Espoir versus Manchester Mavericks B. So these guys are going into the second 16, shall we say, and all good so far. Just pull up my notes to make sure I remember to when call teams who have dropped out. So now we go to the third cup. So again, Mavericks and Team Row still waiting for that result. Brain Games LV will be playing the loser of the Mavericks versus Row. Then we have Grand Earth Alliance versus Soul Snatchers. And thank you for Soul Snatchers for being the guys who kept pointing out to me that their score was wrong, which made me find a massive bug in my script and spent an hour fixing that today. So thank you to, is it PV who called that out to me continually until I finally believed him and went, yep, I'm wrong, you're right, and spent an hour rewriting some code. Then we have the Forest Defenders versus Seeker Noodles. We have Hypno Key Frogs, who are Asia Pacific or Singapore, plus All For One Gaming from the UK, versus Baguette and Switch. That should be a very interesting set of games. Then we have the Magical Bye-Bye, where Tubular Time Hogs dropped, and I actually just quickly hacked that in. So this means that Screech Bomb, or Screech Boom, will get the bye through to the third round. Then we have SCS Dealers versus Team Archimedes. Now, in full disclosure here, Team Archimedes and Team Wormhole have played 0 games because they weren't knocked out. And so we tossed a coin, and I apologise for this, but as this is the third cut I was prepared to do this for, and Team Archimedes called heads, and they got heads. Team Wormhole were not present, but I did do it on the main chat in the Discord. I'm not happy with how this turned out, but I felt it was a necessary evil. In order that, or I had to handle both teams dropping when I knew Team Archimedes would have liked to keep playing. Then we get to Team SAS. Now, Team SAS have dropped. We just haven't yet got that coded in. So whoever wins out of OG Midwest Mavericks and GFC 03 will get the bye because Team SAS will drop. However, if neither of them play, that's going to be a fun one to put through. Then we got Manchester Mavericks B beat ABR Smoky Bears. So ABR Smoky Bears will play versus London Urchins, Dark Urchins. And that completes the third cut. The fourth cut, CR7 Ghost Torts will go through, and they will play Tomate Tilatellos and Team Exalted A. Now, Team Exalted A reached out to me with massive apologies for not playing their third game. This third game will be played either tomorrow or this evening. I can't remember which one it is. I have granted them an extension over the addition before I announced an extension to everybody, because that was only so last minute because of extenuating circumstances. And I want to be open and honest about that. I'm not going to dig into the why. That's not my place. Allied Archons versus Furry Muscles. Not finished with your month in Italy versus the Monkeys from France. Team Wormhole will be playing either Skippy Time Rooms or Barcelona Marmooks. I've been talking to Skippy Time Rooms. I'm trying to reach out for Barcelona Marmooks before we make a decision on the outcome of that. But say waiting for Barcelona Marmooks Beer Forge to get in contact with me. Niffle Disobedience are going to be playing Bootcamp X Team 2 from Germany. Team Wormhole versus London Urchins Imperial Traitors. Baywitch will have the bye in the first round, and depend on the outcome of OG Midwest Mavericks and GFC 03, will play the loser of that match, but they may get a bye if neither respond to me by this time tomorrow. And finally, the final Swindle Alpha will play the winner of SCS Sharks and Team Wormhole Bot Buchan, but I say, still waiting for one more result there. And then finally, we go into the final cup. So we have Okadavakido go through because of Small Electricity's decision to drop. We have Furry Missiles. So again, we have La Forge Latina from Argentina versus Trailer Park Boys from Germany. We then have Manchester Mavericks C versus Manchester Mavericks D, which will be interesting. I'm sorry, guys, I was trying to avoid too many local games. Then we have, I need the Skippy Time Rooms or Beer Forge. The loser of that match will play Lomez de Hombres. Team Weekend have now dropped, so the final Swindle Omega will go through. Jabbergrammer have now dropped, so the winner of the Nottingham Anomalies and the Wookalars will go through. And then finally we have the Unicorn Squad, who by a pure good or bad luck have got a bye again because of the Time Hot Jubilers dropping. And then finally we have Portuguese Generosity will play the winner of the SCS Sharks versus Team Wormhole. So, and let me be open and honest here. I'm not happy with how we are handling necessarily some of the buys in the knockout stages, but unfortunately that's just the way the cookie is crumbling because of the teams who are dropping out. But I'm happy the first two cuts are good, and that's my priority. The rest of it is there for everyone to continue their fun, play new people, find new teams, and enjoy themselves. And if anyone wants to drop, that's no problem. I do not take anything like that personally. At this point, I do appreciate you can do it, I believe you, separate syllables in the second word. Yeah, Callum, when we get out of this lockdown stuff, if we ever work out what our current laws are, you and I are going to get a beer, and every time I get this wrong, I'm going to buy you a shot. And if you don't die, I will pronounce it right by the end of the evening. I hope you agree with that, Callum. I'm not a big drinker, so I'm not going to do the shot. I'll probably be driving. But hopefully that's good. So the point here is the first two cuts of the Mind Quadrant 2, they're the ones I'm going to fight to make sure that we have no buys, everything's fair. The last three cuts are the fun, people wanting to play. If you want to drop, that's no problem. But to give people the ability to play those teams in other countries that so many people said they wanted to do. We've had 5 teams drop in total from Coats. 6 teams dropping in total from Coat. 1 in the group stages, 5 in the playoff stages. And for me, I find that really, really good. But the key thing here is I'm more than happy to set people dropping at this point just so we can get the people who want to play the multinational stuff, even at the lower level, can still play it. And we're going to do it a little bit cleaner, but the same idea, I feel, when we get to Coat 7. We're still just trying to look at what else we're going to tweak, but the general message is it's going to be recognisable from this. The main thing I think I'm going to change is the playoffs will no longer be presented next to the brackets, which would have made my life a hell of a lot easier. Now I know. Great, guys. Well, thank you everyone for listening to me today. Not too many questions apart from Callum once again claiming I can't pronounce Screech Bomb. Bomb. Bob Bomb. Bob Bomb. Screech Bob Bomb. I give up. Screech Bob Bomb. I'll just go with that and hopefully... What sets play each other? Now that is a great question. I, as ever, forgot to mention that. So let's just pull up my notes. I actually even loaded it in front of me. This is going to be AOA versus Worlds Collide. Worlds Collide versus AOA. And... Sorry, I've just completed that. And Mass Mutation versus Mass Mutation. So AOA versus Worlds Collide. Worlds Collide versus AOA. And Mass Mutation versus Mass Mutation. Got it. Awesome. Right, I'm going to put that into the chat straight away. I'm going to put the links to the top cuts in the Discord. And I'm going to then sleep and tomorrow finish getting the stuff so we can highlight which teams have dropped. So thank you everyone to listen to me rant on once again. Hopefully you've all enjoyed it thus far. We are going to build a feedback form. I'm probably going to do that tonight before I go to bed just so we can get people's comments. I will take all feedback anonymously. We will take it all seriously. We just want to make sure that we get the feel for the community, not just from the ones who are talking to us. So thanks so much, guys, for making this great. Keyforge Alchemist, great to see you there. Can't wait for your next set of questions coming out. Hopefully I've got that as the right person, or I'm going to be really embarrassed. But thanks, everyone. Hi, Jupiter. Good to see you there. And I hope the KPL is going nicely. 3 weeks left of that, I believe, before your top cup. And great. Have a good week. And I look forward to results being in by Monday next week. Thank you. Stay safe.